I'm Daniel, the past life regressionist, and it's time to begin.
Lift off and the clock has started.
This is Timeless Spirituality. Enjoy each of your time.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Timeless Spirituality. First things first, if you have not listened to episode 25, The Heart Goes On, I highly recommend listening to that gem before this one. That one also just happens to be my favorite episode. Yes, my absolute favorite up until this point, and I don't like to use the word absolute, but that is my favorite episode, so if you haven't listened to it, go on and check it out right now. Yeah. In other news, I have a description to pull up for you guys because I have a workshop coming up in July. The date, July 16th at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 11 a.m. Pacific, and it's on Zoom. And what is the topic, Daniel? What's the workshop going to be about? Guys, I'm recording this really late, so you know how it is. I get really goofy when it's late and I'm tired. So drum roll, please. The title of the workshop is Past Lives and Astrology Ties. And I am co-hosting it with my buddy Christian Bradley West, a.k.a. the Country Clairvoyant, a.k.a. the guest who was here for the Spiritual Satire episode. And yeah, so we are doing a workshop together. And the description is as follows. In this 3-hour live class, we will combine astrology and past lives to help you gain a greater perspective on where you've been and where you're potentially going. In the first half of the class, Christian will talk about the moon's north and south nodes, what signs they're currently in, and what they could represent for you. And in the second half, I, Daniel, will lead us in a group past life regression where you can individually access a past life experience. I think it's going to be really cool. And I'm going to include the link to the ticket page in the show notes. So there'll be a little more description for you guys there. And yeah, it's going to be cool because let's be honest. It's the nodes. It's past lives. I mean, that's cooler than the fawns, right? Okay, well, me and my super goofy, giggly self, I gotta go to bed now. So with that said, if you would like to book a regression with me to discover who, when, and where you have been throughout time, you can reach me on Instagram at The Past Life Regressionist or my website, thepastliferegressionist.com. And now, it's time to begin. Kaley, welcome back to the show. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm really happy to be here. It's been a while, man.
Yeah, it has. Too long. And as everyone's heard me state numerous times on the podcast, your episode is by far my favorite. Episode number 25, The Heart Goes On. There's no episode that even comes in a close second. It's not even a competition. I don't have to think about, well, they're all the same. No, they're not. I mean, every episode is great in its own unique way, but yours is just my all-time favorite. So, yeah.
I mean, listen, I am a little bit biased, but I get it. It was a pretty profound experience. So I can't really imagine what else comes close to that. So, yeah.
I mean, you'd think aliens and parallel realities and alternate dimensions and that stuff would, but no.
I don't know, man, because on the one hand, look, I love that stuff. I love getting into all of that world. And you and I have had other like really, really fascinating regressions and seen really, really interesting past lives for me. But when it comes to the heart, when it comes like there's just a humanness there. Mm-hmm. And so we can get into all the magic and all these other things. But like at the end of the day, to to get to reunite with a love and then begin to understand like the purpose and meaning of having come together and what that meant in this lifetime. And like, you know, how many people never get closure like that, never get to have that conversation, you know? So yeah, the aliens, okay, that's fun. But this is like, it's the most human. It touches the core in all of us, I think. So, and I got to experience it. So yes, I'm biased. I also think it's the best episode. But I think it's something that we all connect with and relate to. And everybody wants, this is why romantic movies are so popular. We all want that perfect ending. And what if it just comes in a different form? You know, I think that's a lot of what you do is like help people see the actual truth, the actual reality of what we might think is like, this is like this horrible experience right now in life, or I'm miserable, or why did that relationship just like end in flames, you know? And it's like, well, there's a lot more there than you realize. And actually, maybe there is that beautiful Hollywood ending. It just doesn't look the way Hollywood's made it seem. So yeah, I think it just touches all of us.
And since Kaley's a close friend of mine, I feel comfortable calling her out and saying that the reason that it's her favorite episode is because it's the only one she's probably listened to of Timeless Spirituality.
Oh no, I've listened to 2 more.
Oh, okay. Oops. I stand corrected.
No, now I feel bad that I just said only 2, but
no, it's okay.
Oh yeah, I've listened.
You got a lot going on.
I'm not going to pretend to say that, but no, there were a couple that you posted a long time ago. When you post clips, like the clips on Instagram, a couple times, like I was just like, okay, I have to hear the whole episode. Like I didn't listen to that, but yeah, I should listen to more. That would be good, but I know it's not going to happen.
Yeah, I'm just giving you a hard time.
Thanks. So, all right, well, now I need to brace myself for the rest of this episode.
Well, that's just setting the stage with how comfortable we are with each other.
Thanks, great. Now I know what's to come.
Or it could be something else entirely different. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, you know what? You know what it kind of makes me. You know what it makes me think of, Daniel? When I refer people to you, one of the things I tell them is you're so present in the session and your intuition is so on point. Like you've really mastered that over the years that you're able to go places that maybe you guys didn't prep for in your prep session, that maybe the client didn't tell you about. And then all of a sudden you say something and it goes exactly where the person needs to go next. But it's like, how did you know that? And so that takes me back to one time. You did that many times with me, but one time you did that with me and I was so caught off guard. You said in our session. By
the way, really quick before Kaley goes on, this was an outlier. This is not something I make an active practice of doing what she's about to talk. I'm pretty sure my intuition is spot on with what she's about to say. But if it is, this is not something I make a habit or practice out of doing. Just want to say that. But Kaley, you have the floor. By the way, we're just diving right in. We're just skipping past everything else right now.
Should I just not say this? No, but
no. It's wait. Can we get there in a minute?
Yeah.
Okay, because let's do all the other formalities first.
Yeah, let's do the formalities. Let's do it.
So who is Kaley?
Oh, dang, we were at such a high point. I am an illness recovery coach. I work with people with chronic illness and I help them heal through mind-body techniques. I myself healed from MS, multiple sclerosis. I was diagnosed with MS when I was 12 years old. And a lot of people tend to think like, oh, well, maybe she just didn't have it so severe, or, you know, maybe it wasn't so bad. Maybe that's how she healed. And most people, I get where that comes from. I think most people are trying to feel better about, you know, maybe if they haven't had that kind of experience or don't believe in the possibility of health. And no, I had some pretty severe symptoms and really rough experiences growing up. It was a very tough, like, adolescence. I've been paralyzed. I've been blind in one eye. I've had times where like all my internal organs shut down. Like it was rough. It was rough. And it was rough. It was very tough to grow up with disease. And so in my like late 20s, I just had a moment where I was like, I refuse to live like this. I have to figure this out. I always believed that the human body had the capacity to heal. I just didn't know what that would look like. So I set out to heal and it worked. So this is what I do now for others. I teach people how to do this, which is like a super shock because I just was so happy once I was better. I was like, okay, great. Now I'm just going to go live my healthy life. And God was like, haha, cute. Like, I have a whole plan for you, which has been a mind blowing journey. And it's profound to witness others on their path. And I consider it very sacred work. It's very deeply spiritual work. And it's profound. Like, what I get to witness is I cry. I teach a course. I cry almost every single class of like just hearing people share their experiences and their wins and going from not walking to walking and finally being able to go to the bathroom. Like, these things just, it just moves me, and never knew this would be my life. And it's incredible. I do a lot of other things. I'm also a marriage and family therapist and a grief coach and an author, and hopefully lots more to come. So yeah, and a wife, and I have an amazing husband. So yeah, that's Kaley. Does that
In a
help?
nutshell. Yeah, that helps.
In a nutshell.
Now
yeah.
everyone just has, the baseline.
Yeah, now they have the baseline.
Just in case they're like you and they don't listen to any other episodes of the podcast, I don't want to make the assumption that they know who Kaley is because at this
you guys
point
can't
they
see
went
me, but
back
I'm hiding.
40 episodes or 50 episodes.
I'm hiding my face right now just so that, because our audience can't see that, I'm like so embarrassed and hiding. Yeah. And I love nature and downtime and to have fun and to dance. So yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
That's me.
So where were we?
Now, where were we? Okay. So we're in the middle of a session. We had a very specific thing to look at in that session around illness. Trying to understand, I was already healthy, but I wanted to start understanding like what else is connected to illness and MS and how did this all unfold in my life, in my body. And new challenges were coming up in my life, and I wanted to understand those as well. And I was sort of in a state of crisis, and I called Daniel and I was like, it was like a dark night of the soul. I was like, I am going through something really deep right now, and I need to get some clarity. So we booked a session, and for anyone who's worked with Daniel, it's like pretty extensive prep. There's a lot of conversation before you actually go into I don't know what you want to call it, like a hypnotic state.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we spoke at length, kind of going over like every aspect of what I was curious about, what I wanted clarity on. And then seemed to me out of the blue, Daniel, you're like, show us a life where Kaley was a mystic. And it's very interesting when you're in this state because your intellect is still present. Like me, Kaley personality in this world, in this lifetime, in this body is still there. It doesn't mean, and it's sort of a choice, like when I notice that or don't notice that. And so that part of me was like, what? We didn't talk about that. What's making him say that? Like, that's just nothing's going to happen now. Like there's nowhere to go now. Like that was like the personality and the intellect. But thankfully I was able to quiet that and just allow what was unfolding and what I was seeing. And sure enough, that was the first time I saw myself as a mystic. And it was profound because it was so like real and obvious to you. Obviously, like, I just want everyone to understand, like, we're friends. We've known each other many, many years. We've now like had massive, huge experiences together. So like, I don't know that anyone else you would have that level of intuition with. Maybe, I don't know. Your intuition's pretty incredible, but there we were. And I did not know that being the mystic was any part of my current life or reality or part of my past. I mean, I wasn't so surprised. Like, as a kid, I could, bend spoons with my mind and like do all kinds of weird things. And
wait, is Kaley or in that life?
No, in this lifetime.
I never knew this.
Yeah. So yeah, because like it's like all of that, you just like bury it all, not on purpose, not like it took me a long time to remember, like, oh, wait, yeah, like there were all these cool, funky things I did as a kid. I didn't talk about them. Like my family knows that, but my brother could do the same. Like, okay, it just was like normal. So anyways, like at some point, like you know, as you get older, you just like stop kind of playing those games and using your mind in that way. We become jaded, we become closed, and our energy gets all kinds of stagnation. So I never connected back to that mystic. And yet there I was, and it was the most like obvious, natural, normal thing in the world. And it was very cool because not long after, I would say about, I'm trying to think of the timing. I feel like that session was like December-ish.
Probably what, 2020 for that one?
Yeah, it was definitely one of the COVID times.
Mm-hmm.
So it was either 2020, 2021. I think it was 2020. And then
Yeah, it was 2020.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. Okay. So that makes sense because then it was about 7 months later that I started having really intense mystical experiences. and beings in other dimensions started communicating with me. And I feel like it was almost like a prep. Like, so it didn't, when it happened, I wasn't like, I didn't have like a freak out. I was just like, okay, this is happening. Thankfully, the first time it happened, I was with an energy worker, with an energy practitioner. So I was with a person who wouldn't freak out and was able to like keep me contained and calm, even though she'd never seen anything like that. But I just think it's like so fascinating that you asked, and it really, you know, nothing is random. I really believe this. Nothing is random. You needed to ask in that moment. I was supposed to see that, and I never would have thought to go there. And I was supposed to see it and get comfortable with it and see how, I mean, so much for me stands out about that life that I saw and the specific scene. But it was so natural. It was so normal. It wasn't fireworks. It wasn't some big deal. It was just like the most normal thing in the world. I was living in what seems to be like the Hawaiian Islands. And there was like a cave, which is in that cave is where like I would communicate with other dimensions. And I was helping out like my tribe. I was, you know, helping my people. So I would go and communicate and to provide guidance to my people if they had questions, whatever it was, like to my community. So I would go anytime I needed to communicate, I would go into the cave, and it was like these souls would just like sit, they would come and sit with me. And, you know, as if like literally as if there's a person sitting in front of me, and they would talk to me and I would ask them questions and I would get guidance. And then in the scene that we went to, I found myself sitting outside the cave in a circle of elders. And these were like actual people who were like my guides, who helped me and were guiding me in my work and helped me to become this mystic and to continue to grow and expand my own skills as a mystic. So it's like, who does the mystic go to? Like who are your, you know, wise leaders? So I had that. And in that circle was incredible because unless someone's done a past life regression, there's no way to comprehend what I'm about to say. But these people don't look like they don't look familiar as in someone I would see actually in my life, but I knew who each one was. Like I knew who each one was. I know them in my life. I'm like, oh, there's this one, there's that one, there's my rabbi, there you are. Like, you know, and like, he's incredible because when I started having this like mystical experience opening and started getting this gift and having communications, like I immediately called him. I was like, I don't know. I didn't know if he'd be able to have that conversation. I didn't know if he'd be able to go there with me, but he could. And he was like, okay, we got to protect you. We got to get you grounded. We got to make sure that like you're safe in these moments. And he taught me so much. And then I had a bunch of other teachers that I could reach out to too. But that also, seeing that past life taught me that is like, oh, the mystic doesn't go it alone. You have to get guidance. People have to guide you. So another woman in my life who's incredibly gifted. She is, I mean, the thing she sees is mind-blowing. She gets such clear communication. It's amazing. And she's guided me a lot through my journey. And she knew, by the way, the first time it happened and I called her, I was like, this thing just happened. She was like, okay, you want to come over for a cup of tea? And I was like, why are you calm about this? Why are you normal? What's happening? She's like, well, kind of knew that was coming. And I've seen that from the first time I read you. I knew that was coming. Just matter of time. I was just waiting till it would happen. So she was ready for me, which was also so incredible and was able to teach me so much. Like, I have choices. I don't have to be in that communication in that moment. I don't have to do everything that a soul, in another dimension is asking of me or wanting to communicate. And it's really important that I stay in control and that power. It's so easy. I know I'm talking, but it's so easy. It's so easy that when we have an experience like this, there's there's an excitement, so it's very easy to lose our sense of self. And you kind of just want to like be in the adventure of it and ride the wave. And it's actually really not healthy. You want to be very controlled and safe and grounded and contained. And so I was really, really lucky because the first experience was very long and exhausting. The second one was also just like super, super draining. And at some point I had to just ask. I was like, I have to stop. Like, I need a break. And the answer I got was like, but there's more. And so I felt really obligated that like I had to continue rather than being able to say, okay, but like I'm human and there's only so much I can take. Like, we'll have to revisit this. So it was very empowering that like I had that kind of guidance, to be able to know you don't have to do that. Like, no, you have free will and you are in charge and you have to maintain that at all times. Because remember, once in soul state, we forget what it's like to be in a body, and they don't know how taxing it is to have it's like divine electricity running through you. And I was sharing with you, Daniel, earlier before we started today's conversation. It's gotten much easier now. I don't like shake like crazy, and I'm not like sweating bullets. It was so hard on me physically. Now it's much better, much easier and smoother. But in the beginning it was really, really hard. So it's so not random, the timing. I feel like that, probably obviously the divine knew, but my guides and my soul family all knew like this was coming, and I needed some kind of prep, some kind of heads up of like, how is she going to handle this? So it's very cool. I got to see it in a past life and see how I managed it then. So then I just felt much more normal when it actually happened. It was like, oh, this, okay. It's not out of the blue. It's like, oh, we're back here again. Okay. We know the drill.
So, well, I mean, first, thanks for sharing all that. It's always magical to listen to you talk.
Thanks. I'm really good at talking a lot. You should interrupt me more.
When that came up during that particular session, when I asked that question, low key, I was freaking out because, well, I mean, I don't want to take away from your experience, but I'm freaking out because I was making an absolute statement in that moment. The absolute there was, let's show Kaley the life, or can you take Kaley to see a life where she was a mystic? I don't remember exactly. I think, yeah, it was something along, it was vague,
yeah, you said,
but absolute.
Yeah. Can you show us the life where Kaley was a mystic?
And I'm low-key freaking out because that's almost as if I'm asking a leading question or somewhere to take you somewhere. So it's like, yeah, am I contributing to your psychosis? Which I know it's not, but
thank you for that. Thanks.
Well, but that's the fear that came up in that moment is, am I interfering with the journey here?
Yeah. But you probably always have to kind of play with that balance.
Oh yeah. I mean, it was even worse for me because it's not as if it was a question that you wanted me to ask for you. Because even if you were to say to me beforehand, I want to see a life where I was a mystic, I'd probably be pretty reluctant to phrase it in that way or to even take you there without it coming up organically. So for me to just bring that up when it wasn't even on your radar was a big no-no. But I trusted myself, and
that's amazing.
And I'm glad I took that risk.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, it's not to say that you wouldn't have been okay with any of this had that not happened. I mean, like, you would have. And I can't even claim to be like the woman you spoke of who invited you over for tea, where
Yeah.
she was just saying, oh, it was a matter of time.
Yeah.
I always saw you as magical, but I never saw this embodiment of the modern mystic per se, because
Mhm.
oftentimes when I think mystic, I think Merlin. I think things of that
Mhm.
nature. So that was another thing that was comforting to me about your session, was you found yourself on a tropical island.
Right.
You weren't wearing a hat, or you weren't
Right.
wearing a a ceremonial robe of the
Yeah.
Druids or anything of that nature. It was out in the middle of the ocean, not what you typically associate with mysticism. So
Yeah.
that was very comforting for me. And then I think it was July of 2021 when we did an IG live on my channel.
Yeah.
And it started to come up for you a bit.
It happened.
And
I'm ready to do my shaking.
at that point, you hadn't even told me what was going on. You had just mentioned that there were things
Unfolding.
that you were having some, quote unquote mystical experiences. I'm like, okay. Like, she'll tell me whatever she's ready to tell me.
Yeah.
So when it started to happen, like, I remember looking at you and saying, oh shit, something's starting to happen.
Hey,
but I know that,
you can see it.
Yeah. But I also knew in that moment that it was still something that you weren't completely comfortable speaking of.
Right.
So I'm trying to figure out, how do I toe this line between not being blatantly obvious that something's happening and also keeping Kaley calm? Because I could have easily jumped into that mode of, okay, well, let's just allow this, let me talk her through this. I can bring her out of this. But if I do that, I'm going to be calling attention to what's happening. So what do I do right now? So I remember,
gosh, so many layers.
It's like, what if I make some funny faces? Will that kind of divert away from it? If I just keep going, which at a certain point I did. So I probably look like an asshole, because I think people may have seen that something was going on with you, but I'm like, I'm just going to keep going. The show must go on. And things I'm saying are probably very self-absorbed right now. So things I'm caught in my own little world, but no, just can't draw attention to what's going on with Kaley right now. I think that's when it became blatantly obvious. I'm like, okay, funny face is like, oh shit, what do we do? What do we do? It's like, okay, all right, this is happening. And then you came through with some very profound messages for me about my voice, because I had been experiencing vocal issues for a while. So it's like, you and I just have this back and forth where I scratch your back, you scratch mine. I scratch your back, you scratch mine. It's pretty much 50-50 at this point.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've also had our past lives together. And when we talk about, like, helping each other out, first of all, that's exactly what happened the first time we met. You were like, wait, hold on. What? Wait, you have a fiance that passed? And you were like, have you ever done a past life regression? We have to do that. We have to do that now. You were just like, that needs to happen. And like, sure enough, within 12 hours, we were doing a session.
Wait, really quick. I just got to jump in for that one too. We were in a foreign country and I was leaving the next day.
Yeah.
So
he's like, this has to happen before my flight.
There's a lot of things I do with Kaley that I don't make a habit out of doing with anyone else, such as this needs to happen now if we're going to do this. I'm usually much more chill and relaxed. Oh, no, you do it on your time. You could do it in a month, 6 months, a year, whenever you feel right. It's like, no, if this is going to happen, it needs to happen now.
Yeah. Not only are you usually chill about it, usually takes months to book. So you usually have a wait list. Yeah. Can you hear that in the background? Anyways, my husband's blowing the shofar, like perfect timing. He knows I'm doing an interview. Anyway. So hold on. Now I lost my train of thought. So, in terms of like I scratch your back, you scratch mine. Like, this is also where nothing is random. Nothing is random. And I know that everything is always divinely orchestrated. We get to choose what we step into and how we step into it. That's always our choice. I think what's really incredible in terms of our friendship and since we've met, is that both of us kind of go all in. I don't do that with everyone, but there's something here that like, it's like, oh, that's coming up for Daniel. Okay, let me X, Y, and Z. Oh, this is happening. Let me go there. Right. Oh, all of a sudden, like this mystical thing, I'm starting to like communicate with other oh, there's messages coming through. Okay, apparently that's for Daniel. Right. So it's like, and you've always been the same too. It's like, I know you're completely booked for months. And then I mentioned something and you're like, oh, we got to do this now. And that has happened even when you didn't have a flight the next day. You're like, nope. All right, let's do it this weekend. Like, okay, we're going there. And I think it's interesting because we haven't talked about this or explored this much, but we do have a past life where we were married or partners. It was like sort of a different time. I don't know what like the legal dynamic of that was, but it was very like enmeshed codependent, if you recall.
Was that the jungle one?
Kind of, yeah, jungle-ish. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And I just think it's interesting that like, hopefully, I hope that part of this lifetime is that there's a healthier back and forth now, rather than like, it was, I mean, the way that I saw it was like this intense infatuation. I don't know how you just knew it was there. I don't know how. That's just like remarkable. But
wait, what?
You had to, after I came out of the regression, you had told me like, yeah, I like you had known about that. Do you remember this?
Uh-uh.
Are we gonna have to edit all of this out?
Oh no, it's okay. I leave blemishes in here.
Yeah, you had told me something like you had said either like you had a hunch or you'd known something about it. But anyways, it was a very like enmeshed experience.
What was the life again? I mean, are you comfortable talking about the life? Because I don't remember the contents.
There are certain aspects of it I don't want to talk about publicly.
That I remember.
Yeah, that part. So you remember that part.
Yeah. Well, just for everyone who's listening right now, if Kaley and I are thinking of the same thing, it's nothing scandalous.
No. Yeah. None of what we're trying to avoid talking about is scandalous. It's just to be respectful of others. And I think that's the other thing in when it comes to past lives that I've learned. I have a lot of friends who are practitioners and they do a lot of past life regression. And so you see a lot, you learn a lot. And one of the things I've learned from them is like, you don't tell someone else until like they've also seen it. So it's kind of like, let them see it also for themselves rather than just like, oh yeah, by the way, you and I were blah, blah, blah. Like, let them also come to it and experience it and see that aspect, Yeah,
I made that mistake a couple times.
Yeah. Yeah. So same as I'm doing this with you right now. And I'm just like, right. Remember that time we were like super enmeshed, and codependent. And you're like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh no. I mean, that's fine because that, I was there for that in a sense. Sometimes I forget I remember details of stuff, but yeah.
So, I mean, you were actually there for the regression. It wasn't just like I had an experience and people do this all the time. Like, I'll share like with my husband an experience I had in a regression with you, but doesn't mean I'm going to go tell the other people I saw in that lifetime exactly what they did and what happened. And I'm like, when they need to see it, they'll see it. Maybe I don't need to share that with them or scare them or attack them or blame them. It's just like, that was a different life. So yeah, I would like to think, I hope that the way that we help each other out and show up in this lifetime and also for others, because we were so self-absorbed in that relationship, like nothing else mattered, not even our children. It was like, that was like an afterthought. And so I hope that actually that's what I'm seeing. I guess I'm just saying that like, I think in this lifetime, we're doing a really good job of like, no, we're here to serve, to really inspire others, help others on their journey, guide others. And that where you and I come together is really to like support each other in a really healthy, balanced way. So hopefully this is like a really good rectification on that experience.
I mean, I did perform at your engagement party.
Yes, you did. It was so special. So special. Oh my
I don't know if that's compartmentalizing or just seeing it for what it is, which is we just fill different roles in different lives. No biggie.
That's the most important thing. And I find that it's so hard for people to grasp that we when we are in this human form, we want to see everything as black and white, as right or wrong, as yes or no. It's this duality, but duality is false. Like that's not how the universe works. And quantum physics is amazing at showing that. Like it's like this until you look at the thing and now it's a different thing. And you're just like, what? I don't understand. Like that's insanity. But that's actually all of life. And I think humans really, really soar as individuals on their journeys when we can start to hold space for non-duality, or we can go, it can be this and that, and there can be many realities at once.
Mm-hmm.
And that means we have to stretch ourselves. But when you start to understand past lives, which I don't think everybody needs to go and do past life work.
Mm-mm.
I think that when we're really, really stuck and we're really, really struggling, sometimes that's very helpful. I think one of the things that you automatically get from it is just flexibility, and you just start to see your life in a whole different lens. It's like, oh yeah, maybe that person isn't actually a complete jerk. Oh yeah, because I was the jerk last time. I was the one doing all the not cool things last time, right? And it really, really, it just opens things up. It shifts our perspective. And so I think it helps a lot to realize that what's happening right now in this moment feels like it's the only reality, but there's actually multiple realities and so much more than we realize. And that helps a lot to realize, oh, I think this is everything right now. No, actually, nope. I was married to that person in another lifetime. So now we're just stepping into a different role, helping each other out in a different role. That's what this lifetime needed. That's what our souls agreed to now, this time. I think you get so much more space. You just get space in life when you start to acknowledge these things. So, yeah.
Well, frankly, I don't think you were my only past life spouse at that wedding that we met at. I was probably married to everyone there at one time or another. You know, there's some people there who annoyed the shit out of me. And it's entirely possible that they threw me off a cliff in a past life. So that's why I was like, yes. Or we were married. So I remember that.
I really hope you're not the guy I threw off a cliff.
You threw someone off a cliff?
I was responsible for that. I didn't do it myself, but I ordered the execution.
Well, then if that's
it wasn't you, bro.
Right. If that's the one was that in a regression? Where that
it was in a regression.
Was that with me?
I can't
It's okay.
imagine.
I know Kaley's done regressions with other
practitioners. No, I don't.
It's okay.
I have, but I don't think that at the time. No, because remember the regression we did where we realized that I had actually lived here where I live now before?
Oh, yeah. Was that the one where you threw someone off a cliff or ordered someone to be thrown off a cliff? Yeah.
Yeah. I was like the seer of the tribe.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a Native American tribe. And it's very interesting because I live in Muncie, which I didn't know was named for the Muncie Indians. And I had no idea. And there was this one place. I mean, I know we're jumping around now, but it's just such a cool story. I haven't thought about this in a long time. It's a pretty cool story. And the cool thing is I haven't thought about this in a long time, but Adam just asked me about it today. He brought it up, which is so cool. There was one road that I had to drive up a few times when, like, in the first few months after I moved here. And every time I drove by this cliff, I just would get like the chills. I was like, I know this place. How do I know this place? I was amazed by it. The rock formations, like, just totally blew me away. And in my mind, it was stunning. It's not objectively so stunning. It's a rock. Okay. But there's like something so majestic about it. And then we did a past life regression, and all of a sudden, and like, I didn't see that right away. I didn't see that cliff right away. I didn't see those rocks right away. But I saw like where all of like the tribe lived and everything. And then, yeah, towards the end, I realized when basically like a bunch of like white men were scouting the area, and I knew something was going on. So I sent out the chief with, like, all of the warriors to like protect. but I told them, like, you don't have to harm them. Like, if you're able to capture, at least we'll also get information, figure out like how many more are coming. And then we'll decide from there, like what the options are, but we don't want to just automatically execute, you know? So only one guy came back alive, and we gave him the option. Like, you can join the tribe or you can die, but you can't just leave. We can't let you go back now and tell them where we are. That's not an option. And he wanted to die. So I made the decision that it was to go off the cliff. But it was I remember the moment when I started putting together, like, that's what I drive by. That's that spot, was like when it was after I'd like sent it, the way I saw it in the regression, it was like once I had like told them go, and I could see what they were seeing. That was the coolest thing. Like, it's called remote viewing. For anybody who like just wants to get into this, it's super cool. I would love to learn how to do like actual remote viewing in this lifetime. That'd be really, really cool. The woman who I told you was like, come have tea. She does remote viewing. It is trippy. She taught me a little bit, but like you got to really practice it. So basically, like, I could see through the chief's eyes, like where he was, who was there, like what was going on. So I knew moment to moment. That was I was like, that's such a cool gift to have. So once that started happening, I was like, oh, my intellect in this body, in this lifetime, started to put it together. I was like, oh, I know this place. I drive by there. That's that cliff that I freak out about every time. Like, I know this, I recognize this. So today we were driving home, and Adam said to me, what was it like living here? And I was like, what do you mean? Like, what was it like living here? What are you talking about? He's like, when you lived here way back in the day. And I was like, oh, you're asking me about that, like that past life. And he's like, yeah. And
I love him.
Yeah. It's a random question, by the way, Kaley, what was it like? And it was really interesting because I could like feel it. I could feel it. I could feel the experience. It felt, first of all, the biggest thing that stood out to me was the cold, but I could feel my body in the cold. And I was like, it was very cold, but I was okay with it. Like, I had adapted to it, and I could feel myself as like very big. So I was like, I had padding. I was okay. And like, you just walk around, like you could feel, like I could feel the experience of like these like hides on you. Like, that's what keeps you warm. Like, they just walked around in these like blankets. I mean, it's a cold place. Like, we had so much snow last week. It was nuts. Like, you can barely make it to the car. Your feet just like sink all the way down. So, but I said to him that there was like a sort of like, it was also like, it was a peaceful life. It was a peaceful experience. It felt very like up until the land was infiltrated. not to get controversial, but thank you, white men. Yeah, it's kind of funny to be a white person saying that, right? So that's also what I think we all lack so much in our society, is just realizing like we were all on the other side at some point, But yeah, just like I was also saying, like I just felt there's such a peace in being in line with nature, and so I feel so at ease here. I feel so soothed here, which is like so ironic. I like. This is like the last place that on the surface level I ever thought I would live. But I am so at peace here. And it's like, I feel like one with nature. I can sit outside and like, I can watch the butterflies forever. When the weather's nice, I work outside. The deer they're always in my video feeds, always. They always just come hang. And I feel there's a home. It's a sense of home, which is so trippy. It's just weird.
Yeah, I'll never forget when that session happened, because you hadn't been living there long at that point, if I remember correctly.
Just a few months.
You'd made the statements such as, this feels like home, this and that. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, oh, Kaley.
It takes me so long to finally realize these things.
But she'll figure it out at some point. But, oh, Kaley. Then when you started describing it, I'm like, here we go. Yeah. Here we go. Yeah, it's coming.
Well, and it's so precious too, because we really cannot fathom as humans like how much overlap is happening in every lifetime and how much our soul has worked out for us. You know, once after we came out of that session, I went and did a bunch of research. I wanted to understand everything about the history of Native Americans in this area, which by the way is really hard to get information on, but it's there. So I did a lot of digging. I wanted to know like when did foreigners arrive to this land? When did they get here? How did they get here? And I don't know if you remember, but the night that Adam proposed, we first went for a walk at this port, like on like along a canal. And it was through that canal that like they had like that these white men that ended up attacking our tribe. But like I didn't see that in that particular past life regression. I saw like our first experience with them, and so we were able to still defend ourselves. But they came in through that port where I was the night that I got engaged. It's just like these things are just not random, and like I never would have known that. It was so random too. He's like, you want to go for a walk? And I was like, here? And I honestly didn't even see the water. We were like in the middle of Brooklyn. I was like, you want to go for a walk right now? Like it's freezing out. And like we have dinner reservation. I did not know he was proposing that night. And I was like, I'm hungry, bro. Like, you want to go for a walk right now? And he's like, yeah, let's go for a walk. I was like, okay. And it was actually really nice and really beautiful. And there were all these beautiful birds and swans. It was amazing. But like, of course, me in the car was like, no, why are we going for a walk right now? Like, okay, fine. It was so beautiful. And I didn't know like the name of it. But of course, once we got engaged, I was like, okay, I want to know like, where were we? And as soon as I looked it up, I put it together immediately. I was like, wait a second, why is this familiar? Why do I feel like I just looked this up like a few weeks prior? And it was like a month before that we did that session and I had looked it up. I was like, okay, what? It's so interesting.
Yeah, the universe works in mysterious ways.
Yeah, sometimes it's right in the nose.
Well, I think that's a good place for us to end it today. What do you think?
Yeah, this was fun.
I enjoyed it. We're going to do another episode. I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm not giving you a choice, even though I'm going to
We still
around a
haven't
certain time with you, but we're going to do another one.
No, of course.
And another one after that. And another one after that.
Yeah. Yes.
And then another one and another one and another one.
Amen to that. I'm here for it, man. I'm here for it. And we still haven't even talked about the past lives where we got so much clarity on illness and what my body was processing in this lifetime. That's a whole episode. So
I'll be the Time of Spirituality spinoff.
Fine.
These lives.
You could just do an entire season of me.
I'm okay with that. You want to do the editing for me?
No. Why do you think I stopped doing a podcast?
Because lemons went out of season? Okay, I probably should explain that joke. But your podcast was called Lemonade, right?
Lemonade Land.
Lemonade Land. Okay. This was a dad joke, even though I don't have kids. So, where can everyone reach you?
Amen to you having kids very soon. Where can everyone reach me? KaleyZ.com, KaleyZ.com, or Instagram or Facebook. On Instagram and Facebook, you look up Kaley Zeitouni, KaleyZeitouni. You can also just reach out to me directly. My team answers the emails. It's hello@KaleyZ.com. And they will make sure to bring anything to my attention that I need. But yeah, just come hang out with us on Instagram. Daniel and I are on Instagram a lot. We hang out there.
Yay.
Thank you.
I mean, you're welcome. Thanks for coming on. Thank you. Okay, now I got to end. What?
Thank you, everyone. This was fun. Thanks, Daniel. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Kaley. Now, let me do my sign off. Yay. Fellow time travelers, your journey through time awaits you. Just want to thank you guys so much for listening to today's episode. And if you're interested in discovering who, when, and where you have been throughout time, and you'd like to book a session with me, just go ahead and send me a message on Instagram at The Past Life Regressionist, or you can reach me through my website, yourpastliferegressionist.com.
Hey, time traveler. Are you trying to learn your birth chart and you're struggling through all those confusing layers of signs, houses, planets, degrees, aspects? I have a 4-level self-paced course that makes this process so much clearer. Hi, I'm Danny. I'm that witch next door. I'm an instructor and mentor for folks like you that are trying to learn all of this trendy new astrological information for themselves in their own lives. Each level of my course is specifically designed to dive deep into the chart and help make sense of all those different parts and pieces. I developed this course to directly improve all the problems that I personally encountered on my journey to learning my own birth chart so that you don't have to. All of the information is presented in a way that is digestible and set up to promote the most effective retention and set you up for real success. By the end of our last level, you'll be ready to practice interpreting the transits and the aspects for yourself. You can visit thatwitchnextdoor.com/astrology for more information and to order yours today. You can also use code Time to Learn for a 10% discount off of your bundle today. This is my way of saying thank you so much for being part of the Timeless Spirituality community. I enjoy working with all of you so much that listen to me over on That Witch podcast. So don't forget, if you're struggling to learn your birth chart, you want to finally make sense of all of this, visit thatwitchnextdoor.com/astrology and use code Time to Learn for 10% off at checkout. Thank you so much, time traveler. Thank you, Daniel, the past life regressionist. And I'll see you all in class.